interest in being in relief. Yeah? So there's a huge interest in having relief, but when relief stabilizes, it has nothing to do with interest. You have no interest in it whatsoever.
Wow.
It's really like the idea of it's not that you're going to be liberated, you're going to be freed from the need to be liberated. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're going to be freed from the need to be liberated. You'll lose interest. You'll lose interest in all of these spiritual goals and stuff. It's a very good indication you're onto something, because you really not, you don't have much interest in having what you already are. Yeah. You're just being it. It just goes a lot nicer, and there's no like return or warranty running out or expiration date. Yeah. So you'll know what. See, we're not steering you wrong. Really, it's a loss of interest. Now, you can't set out on a course to lose interest. That would be interest, yeah? But it is really a loss of, not a loss of interest. The interest gets redistributed, yeah? Yes? And then the interest, instead of being interested in future arrival, you're quite interested in now, yeah? Because you've seen the absurd story of future arrival. So the interest that used to be moved a lot by time and by the mental activity and the narration and everything else doesn't budge that much, yeah? So there's a big chunk of interest that rests in what's always interesting. Yeah. Yeah. And then you have the periphery stuff coming and going throughout the day. But basically, that's what gives you a feeling that every day, and maybe the pandemic really, but every day is the exact same day in a way. It's just the same. And that all the borders and all the walls and all that are quite flimsy, yes? It's just one giant mural without a beginning or an end, and you're not the artist, you're like the brush, basically. Yeah? So you can sense, the brush can sense what's holding it or what's moving through it, but its role is to be this is like a form of expression and observation, yes? So it's not the, yeah. All right, so let's see if you want to start soon, Mike. What's going on?
I already did start recording.
Oh. All right, let's. All right, great. Well, hello, Linda. How are you? You doing all right tonight? Amelia Donato, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good, honey.
We got Navdeep. I'm hoping she's okay. Nancy, Mike. We got Mika. You see that, Mika? Yes. Keith. We got Clay. Clay's back for round 12. We got, who is this one? Pamela? I can't see. Well, her last name is Kali, I think. How are you? I can't see your first name. We got Zoe. Zoe's down for the count. Yeah, she's decided to give it all up. That's right, man. Just lay down. Youve. We got Kelly. Kelly looks very interested. She's got her chin on her hands and ready to go. We got Deepak. We got George, the void, the personification of voidness, George. Let me see who else. We got Mike, and let's thank Mike. Mike is the one that sets all this stuff up. So if you have any complaints about me or anything, tell Mike. Yeah. We got Z. We got Zanda again. I don't know where she's I don't know where she is now. She's underneath that same roof. Gary, Johans, Kerry. Always nice to see you, Kerry. Yes? Yes. Jack is gone. The people came home. The next. All right, I'm happy to be here. Everyone here has, I think, has been listening. The whole idea of non-duality you've probably been introduced to. Let's just be clear. When looked at, non-duality is a negation. I'm not saying you can't describe non-duality, but when you look at it from where we're at, it's a negation of basically the whole formation of what's looking at it. Really, that's basically it. So it's a negation that there's any subject that's studying the object of non-duality. And so it's not enough to share, let's say if the example of you're a lion and I'm a lion, it's not enough to share that you're a lion to a lion, because there's a mental activity that's probably the quickest process in time that arises, and that mental activity claims to be the hearer of the message. It claims to be the bearer of the word. It's like what receives the mail, and it's very, very quick. And for most people, they've never even suspected it. They've just assumed it was them the whole time. Yeah. And then even when they have a huge interruption of that selfing, as soon as the selfing gathers itself, which it usually does, it will claim to be the one who had the epiphany. So it will actually arise and claim its own absence and make it an experience it had, and then drive you crazy with that epiphany. Yeah. So the epiphany was the interruption of all that Paul isn't, all the Pauling. When the Pauling regroups, it says, hey, I'm having an incredible epiphany, which causes the epiphany to end, and now you got an epiphany as Paul. And maybe it's sort of like a spiritual big game hunter. You now start collecting epiphanies, and you're hoping if I could have an epiphanies all lined up, like an epiphany after an epiphany after an epiphany, it would make something. Something would finally happen. Because I thought one epiphany was going to do it. It obviously doesn't, it hasn't seemed to work. So it's got to be 2, and then 3 or 4 or 5, and then there you go. Just like retreats. Yeah. You go on your first retreat, maybe it's like half a day, Saturday. It very rarely stays a half a day. Then it's the weekend. Then you're now planning to go for a whole week. And you're saving up your money and you're reading a lot of books and you're really excited. And then you go there, and of course, nothing actually really happens. So then you figure, well, I need to spend more time. A week ain't enough. I've got to do a week, and I've got to bridge that week to the next 3-week retreat with daily practice. So I got to practice every freaking day. And if I have a day I miss the practice, it's going to affect my experience in that 3-week event. Yeah. So what happens is, obviously, you show up after you leave the retreat. Now so basically, you've seen a lot of people like you at the retreat, and they've told you, well, the 3-month retreat's really fucking great. The 3-month is really good. And then you go to the 3-month retreat, and now you're getting a feeling. You're thinking it's produced by the retreat, but it's a sense of belonging, because you've got a whole group of people that you're going to these things with, and you're feeling, hey, you call up Bob. Hey, Bob, I saw you getting up early from the Zanda or whatever. What happened that day? You know what I mean? And you have now a community, and you're talking, and everyone's sharing their plans for the next retreat. Yeah, let's meet in Costa Rica. It's never in Newark or Hoboken, New Jersey, or the Bronx. It's in like Costa Rica, Cancun or somewhere. Yeah, and so now you're planning it, and so you're really excited, and it motivates you to keep practicing because you want You want an unbroken chain of meditating from the last retreat to the next retreat. You figure that's got to do it. I mean, if I just keep playing that bass line, doom, 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 I'll be able to do it sooner or later without my fingers. It'll just go on. What happens? The retreat, the 3-month one doesn't work. You're not into doing a 2-year, 2-month, 2-day, 2-hour one and standing in like a box or something. That's a little bit extreme, and I don't want to go to Tibet. It gets cold there. Yeah? So now it's okay, let's shake it up. I'm going to go to a tantric retreat where there'll be no talking unless you meet a special someone. Then you can talk to them, or whatever, And it can go on and on and on and on and on. And everything we thought would put an end to what never began. Selfing isn't like something that's actually alive. It's an activity, yeah? It's an activity rooted in us, I'm sorry to say. Yeah? And so as long as us are going, selfing's probably going to go. Yeah? And the selfing is going to replace us with its idea so fast. And if we're asleep at the wheel, which is we have no sense of timelessness in time, we have no sense of it. We think we were there having those timeless experiences. But in fact, that isn't a timeless experience. The timeless wasn't an experience. It was claimed and turned into an experience in time. Yeah? So now, this thing is, you've come to the point, yeah? So maybe you run into non-duality. And so what happens with non-duality? Wow, it sounds so simple. It's just negated that whole Paul that was doing all that shit and so on and so forth. And I believe the final blow that was needed was delivered by non-duality, and I think it's over now, yeah? But what happens is the mental state claims to be the hero of non-duality and then turns it into this insane thing where you're trying to become a non-self as a self. So now you become like a non-dual Pharisee. You're watching everyone's language on comments. He said I, she said me, you're out, you're out. Yeah, there's no personal pronouns and like this. And you're missing the whole fucking enchilada. You're missing the forest from the trees. Yeah? So you have the spirit of, you don't have this, you have the letter of the law, but not the spirit of the law. Yeah? So basically you get so convoluted because it's sort of like a mental yoga, and it's supposed to be the yoga of no posture, but you as a thing can only take a posture. Yeah? Yeah? So it's like this weird little yogic posture you're in, and you're getting so convoluted with intelligent non-duality, you're fucking like, you're past the point of a divine proctologist. You've actually, it's gone so much up the ass of self and calling every place you visit non-self that there's no coming out. Yeah, thank God. Thank God. So finally, okay, I heard the message. I believe it. I believe it. I know it intellectually. All I am is consciousness. I am a lion. I know it. I can roar. I can roar, but let me take 3 months of roaring lessons. No. So what's the point? We've all heard the message of non-duality. You have to hear the message that's full of warnings about what happens when you hear the message of non-duality. Yeah? Because shit happens when you and I hear the message of non-duality. Something gets activated like it always does and fits non-duality into its system. Yeah? It squeezes it into the box of two. Yeah? And then suddenly non-duality is another practice. Yeah? You're going on retreats of non-duality retreats. You're looking around, you very rarely see the teacher sitting down for 5 hours, but you're sitting down where everyone else who paid $2,000. But where's the teacher? He's having a latte in the back because he knows damn well there was nothing he ever did that caused anything to happen. I mean, So, so about ego, I could care less out to hide behind for the mental fucking activity. That's what it does. It's sort of going to and recognizing police drawings of vampires. Oh yes, that's a then vampireness. Yeah. So forget that. The mental state's first movement, obviously, and if you're there, it's going to show up in time. If you're there, wherever there is or here is, it's going to show up in time. And when it shows up, it's going to claim whatever it's gotten into contact with by us. We bring it into contact. It's going to claim it, and it's going to use it to imply Paul as a historical, long-lasting, independent, separate thing. That's what it's going to do. You're not going to train it to do anything else. You're not going to teach that old dog new tricks. You're not going to domesticate it. It's not going to lay down when you say, all right, lay down. It's just going to do what it does, like a mechanical reaction. So consciousness, whatever you want to call it, onness meets appearance. The appearance triggers the mental state. The mental state claims to be the one that met the appearance, be it an idea, be it a person, be it an experience, whatever it is. And so if you really look at what's going on, there is, and then there's something that happens. Consciousness moves and meets appearance. And in that meeting, the mental state gets ignited, and the mental state claims to be the one that met the appearance. Yeah? Or met the action, and now suddenly, every action that it's noticed, it claims to imply the actor that it ain't. Yeah? So suddenly, the actions, which is what's happening, become secondary because they're being used by something else that's happening, the selfing, to imply the actor. Yeah? And suddenly there's a switcheroo, living gets sort of suspended, and an interpretation of living replaces it. Yeah? It doesn't replace it, it sits on top of it, because the living is where the interpretation is grown. Without the living, there'd be no interpretation. Yeah? So the living, something is on top of it, and what happens is the interest and attention gets directed to the interpretation and moves from the sense of being on, alive. Yeah? So instead of the sense of I amness as your basis, it's I am Paul becomes your basis. Yeah? The Paul sits on top of the I am, and so when, as always, your interest and attention would always tend to go back to what you are. I am, but it gets caught in its circulation gets misdirected, and it goes to I am Paul. Yeah? Paul. Paul. So the interest and attention now has a new master, which is Paul, not the I am. Yes? And there's no I am, but you know what I'm talking about. Now, Paul starts, let's say the story of Paul hits a couple of rocky times, and it may have a predilection that it wants to get out of Paul. Unknowingly, it's trying to get out of what it calls self, which is driving Paul crazy, not knowing that Paul is self. Yeah? So it's like Paul's trying to get out of self. Oh, it makes complete sense. Then you hear the statement, self can't get out of self, and that seems to explain your whole fucking life. And you're going, wait a minute, how can the statement self can't get out of self seem to fit me so perfectly when it's Paul trying to get out of self? Because it isn't Paul trying to get out of self. Yeah? It's the other side of the coin. You've recognized one side of the coin of selfing, but you're not recognizing the other side of the coin of selfing. You think the other side is Johan's or Paul or Kerry or Judith or Mike. Yeah? And from that point, Mike, it makes total sense for Mike to try to get out of self completely, because it really believes that self's the problem. not knowing that the problem is trying to escape the problem, which is a huge problem. So we need warnings, all right? Claiming. The second one, this is what happens. The biggest magic trick in this whole little magic theater is time, yeah? The simple diagnosis is this. Something is happening, yeah? So it's like, let's say there's an action, and then when the action is claimed, there's something that's implied after the activity. The activity is used to imply something. That which is implied is the actor. And then suddenly, this is the trick in time, it's now presupposed. So now the actor believes it did the action, yeah? But the action, the mental state derived the story of being the actor from the action. The action is all that's happening, yeah? So that which comes after is implied to be before. This is another shoe. Put it on. If it fits, it's not going to ask you to go anywhere. You're going to stop and see it. Does that sound like what's happening? Life is happening, and somewhere along the line, let's say right now, life has been turned into it's happening to me. That's not life. That's an interpretation. So life's happening, and then life's happening to me. Completely different. All based on the same life, the same living, no life, living, but the naked living will give you a sense of I am in a way. That's what it will go back to, because there's not a moment where you're not. It wasn't I was, and then there's this huge pause, and I could be, maybe I will be. No, there's I am that I am. Yes? Finito. Stop. So here's the activity. The mental state arises, claims the doing to imply the doer. So in the mental time, the doer is before the doing. In real time, right, the doing is before the doer. So that's how you get out. You get out by realizing you were never in. That's where the relief is. You get out of it by realizing you were never in it, yeah? Because if you keep trying to use actions to get out of it, those actions will be claimed to imply you're the one who's trying to get out of it, which is the in trying to get out, yeah? The relief is realizing you were never in it. That's the out, yeah? That's the out with no opposite. If you keep trying to get out, that's the bigger in. If you realize you were never in, therefore there's no huge drive to get out, that's the out. Yeah? The out was before the in. It doesn't come after the in. Because if it comes after the in, there's going to be in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Yeah? Before, there's no in, so there's no out. Yeah? The first linkage of duality has been diverted. In leads to out, leads to in. No, it's cut off. So the freedom is prior to bondage. The freedom is inherently available. It's not something that comes after bondage. It's before bondage. There's no one to be bound. There is bondage, there is an activity, but there's no one who's bound. That's the relief, yeah? You know, swimming in the river of verb as a verb, you immediately always seem to go with the flow. Swimming the river of verb as a noun, there's a lot of fighting against the flow. You're trying to learn a new stroke that's going to allow you to keep up with something or go somewhere. It's just ridiculous. It goes on and on and on. We know it. Look at your spiritual life. I didn't go to a 3-month retreat, the first time I went on a retreat, it was a day, and then a week, and then a week, then 10 days, then 3 weeks, yeah? And you know what? It could have gone on forever. Just more, more, more. I had more points of silence, more fucking peak experiences, more epiphanies, yet the same activity, unbeknownst to me, was completely the foundation of everything. Yeah? Of all the moments of being free, all that. Nothing stabilized because that was stabilized. Yes? The stabilization was agitation. Or it was a state of agitation was what was stabilized. There was moments of peace and freedom, but always they would get shook up by the agitation. And I'd be on signing up for another freaking thing in 3 weeks, picking up another book, doing this, doing that. How many people have stuck with one teacher, one inviter? They go to 30 of them, 40 of them. You don't fit the mess. You don't fit the message around you. Yeah, you fit you around the message, yes? It's the message, not the messenger, nor the messengee. It's the message. And there's a few more warnings, but the two basic ones is the mental states claiming, and you know what? Stop being surprised when it shows back up. You've got to realize it by now. I mean, seriously. I had so many concepts about what level of peak experience would liquidate the fucking self. And you know what? I was rudely awakened. It seems like nothing can liquidate the self because there's no self to be liquidated. Yeah? It's an activity that's going on, and it seems to have a longer life and a larger breadth than any peak experience or epiphany or fucking transcending moment. It seems to outlast it all. It does. Yeah? So... All right, well, that's it, eh?
Honey, can you ask if they can hear you well?
Can you hear me well? Sometimes having trouble.
You've been breaking up a lot.
Oh, yeah? Hold on 1 second. I'm going to see if I can go. All right, so...
Are you on the right Wi-Fi?
Yeah, hold on. I got to go to heads.
You were on the wrong one?
Typical Zen bitch slap. Yes. All right. I think I just did it. Should be good now, eh?
Hey, your video's off, but yeah, your sound's good.
Yeah, I'm here now. Yeah. I can say it. I can say it all over again.
No, it was. You
Word
weren't.
for word.
The non-stabilization was good effect.
It is. It has nothing to do with the words. Hopefully something's vibrating through. I can see certain squares are moving, which is a good sign. They're all squares going like this. Yeah. I'm seeing light going by Johannes' head. He doesn't notice it. Like fucking pulsars. Judith is in like a little halo in herself. She says, haloed out. Yeah, she just stay there.
Josh from Melbourne's got his hand up.
I hope so. Eh?
Josh from Melbourne's got his hand up.
Josh from Melbourne. All right, Josh, where are you?
There we go.
Hey, Josh. I'm trying to find you.
Well,
Josh,
don't look at,
I thought it was another Josh.
yeah, it's contagious. My question is a really simple one, which is why do all mental strategies fail?
They don't. They succeed for the mental state.
Okay.
See, you're trying to apply them as a tool while they're using you as a tool. You know, they got a
Yeah,
beautiful.
I'm definitely a tool.
garden you're hoeing all day, and you're finding a. So they're not failing whatsoever.
All right. Thank you. I'll go back to being a DeLorean now.
It's good to see you, Josh.
Good to see you too, buddy.
All right, Mike.
Anybody
Oh,
else
she
want to raise their hand?
almost resurrected. She almost got up. The healing didn't take effect. She's back down again. One of these nights it'll happen. You'll walk again, I guarantee it. Send me that check. Go out and buy some shoes. That will help, yeah. All right, no one's, oh, great. Let's,
Zanda has her
oh,
hand up.
Zanda. The Klingon captain has showed up. Zanda. The brother of Khan.
Possibly also the physical state can also do selfing, not only mental. Physical can do it. So this is where I am.
Yes.
Yeah, and this is much more challenging. Not, I cannot say much more challenging. It's same challenge, but so difficult to come through, to relax. Actually, my whole thing is relaxation in the nerve system. That would be my liberation, I think. So I want just to say a few words before what happened. After being some period in desireless state, happened that I got tick bite and got this stupid Lyme disease. And since then...
Lyme disease.
Yeah, Lyme, also in the nerves. The last stage.
Neuro. Oh, yeah.
Yes. And then it is so difficult to be in peace, to relax. Before Lyme, when I had a pain, whatever degree of pain, it was always witnesser there or observer, let's say observer. Not witness. First was observer, and I knew I'm not the pain, and something was always relaxed, even with the pain. But with the Lyme, when this stuff went into the central nerve system, this observer burned, the house of observer, let's say, burned and merged with the pain. So there is no more possibility to distinguish myself from the pain. So I'm burning, and I can't, it's no simple relaxation possible. So I hear your words, and does not trigger much. It's just permanent, this contraction in the brain. So I knew I will possibly not survive next days, so I want to die on Arunachala. Is what I knew. It was in Germany. I got this tick bite in Germany when I was there. And I went here to leave the body. That was like 11 years ago. And coming here, somehow somehow I start to a bit recover.
Mm.
I'm still alive, but um, it's same state, you know. And being here at Arunachala, it's quite difficult for the physical body. When I go to the West, it's better because here the energy, fire is so strong that it triggers even more. I'm still alive, but I have more pain than in the West when I'm not around Arunachala.
So why don't you go home?
Yeah.
Why don't you,
Sorry,
why
but
don't
I
you go
cannot
back?
know. Yeah, this is the only house which I have. When I'm in the West and was this lockdown, I would be guest by this or that friend. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's very uncomfortable. It's
Yeah.
uncomfortable. That is the reason why
Well,
I'm here.
that's a different discomfort. Yes.
Yeah, it's total different discomfort.
But what
And
about
yeah,
Arunachala? What about the when that? What about the using the "Who am I" to sort of negate the? Because you've already had a sense of the observer was bullshit. Yeah, that was seen
yeah,
not
yeah.
so. So maybe the same event could have happened now with stepping back a little farther back.
Yeah, it's to some degrees relief there then. The best relief was when I did the Vipassana for a few days. You know, there is here also Vipassana center, the Goenka center with Vipassana meditation. And it was relief, quite good relief. The problem is I'm lazy. I thought, okay, you do it at home, so it will be released, but I cannot have discipline. This is actually a big problem
But you have a lot
for
of
my
don't you
company.
have a lot of 10-day things there with him?
Yeah, it was even enough of 3 days. I did it 10 days, then you can do later 3 days, but everything is closed now. You know, you cannot go
No.
to do it.
Well, the thing is, if it's like you've just found out what works for you,
Yeah.
you need to do a physical activity to get out of the physical.
I need to sit down and observe the body. This is all. You know, Vipassana is just attention through the body going.
I don't know about that. I mean, if the body's burning, is there any opportunities to do service and stuff there for others?
I'm doing that. I'm therapist, and people are coming here.
Therapist is different. I mean, in a way, you get
Yeah.
paid for that, right?
Yeah. Before not.
Yeah,
Before I did it
do
for free.
something other than that. Yeah, do something to
Yeah.
be available to people not in a familiar setting as a therapist or something.
Okay.
Yeah, the service will pull you out of. See, right? Um, Physical pain has a way of attracting a lot of interest and attention. From what
Yeah.
you were sharing, I think you're outmatched. Yes.
Hmm.
And so you have to go back to just a physical event, which is to get out of oneself by doing something for. Yeah. It's just that simple. Yeah, we have it in recovery. Uh, One of the easiest ways, and in recovery, people have a lot of levels of pain, physical, and a lot of them. The easiest way to get a little relief from that is to be of service to others. I think I shared
Yeah.
about the AA thing. One of my sponsors in AA, and he was very adept at a lot of stuff, the Course in Miracles and stuff. He had an accident where his body was burnt to about 80 something percent of his body, third degree burns, and he he there was he was sitting in a hospital, and the last thing he would probably want to do is who am I? And he was bitching and feeling terrible. And then a nurse came and said, "Hey, do you have any time to meet this alcoholic that's in the same ward?" And he's going, can't she see I'm in fucking pain? Don't have time for another person. But he said because his allegiance to recovery was, all right, bring the guy in. The guy came in, they spoke for about 3 hours, and the kid left. And then he realized he hadn't felt the pain in those 3 hours. So he got the nurse back in. He says, get me every fucking alcoholic you can find. Start bringing them into the room. So
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't take your own direction here, honey. I think you're getting more and more, you're outmatched. So just send that head around the corner for a half an hour. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, just get some like grade A relief, and that will go a long way to bring clarity about everything. Yeah. Get some physical relief. They've got to have soup kitchens. I've been in that area, not the Western European area, the Indian area of the town. There's tons of shit you can go to. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. And
Yeah,
then you'll,
yeah, yes. I'm doing once a week, just yeah, something,
but the
and
pain
then
isn't,
it's better. Yeah,
isn't once a week though. The pain
yeah,
is
yeah,
all you
yeah,
may need to apply the skillful solution more than once a week.
yeah. Yes. Okay. Let's see.
Yeah,
Let's
then
see.
come back and
Yeah.
report. We're not going to
Okay.
believe it anyway. If it comes from Zanda, we're not going to believe the report anyway. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good. Thank you.
Hey, I've
Yes.
been I don't have all that, but in my life, I got run over twice by a car in one night. I was laid
Yeah.
up in a hospital bed for 10 months and for 37 days, both my legs were up in traction. I couldn't even move my head. I just laid there
Yeah.
24/7. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. But it was not so bad. You had yourself. You had yourself still. You had the feeling of yourself by that. So here it's not like you get the something hits you on the head. Now
yeah.
you are waiting to start to feel yourself again, to continue with life however it is. And I'm in this state of waiting to feel myself, to see this selfing in the mind or whatever. So I'm waiting and to come out of this discomfort, and I'm still in waiting.
Because there's something that's in the discomfort that wants to get out. You got to ask that question. You're in the symbolic home of contemporary who am I? Near Ramana's ashram. Yeah? If you can
Oh
go
yeah, look.
there, if you could go to where he sat, if you know the cave he was in,
Yes.
yeah,
Two
visit
caves.
something like that. It seems
Mm,
obviously symbolism works for you. You're in a very symbolic place. Take advantage of it.
yeah. Um, I wanted to say something. No, look, when you have a toothache, it's like compare it with toothache. It's where is there a place of self thing. You won't just get rid of toothache. That's all.
Yeah, just get rid of the toothache. Yeah.
Mm.
If you can't get rid of the toothache, just send the interest and attention that's making it a reality. Send it away. You can't do it. Everywhere you go, you bring you with you. Get into
Yeah.
service more than once a week.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
You're
It
welcome.
feels it
And
feels good. Yes. Mm.
the head always, I know what it's like. It's in a certain way, it's unique, but the head loves to exempt itself from any example by thinking this is a very, very unique example. Yeah? There's a guy I used to work with, and I worked with him for years in recovery, and he would come up every few months, he would come up with my problem, which was, it was always, this is the problem. And I said, is it the same the problem of 4 months ago? No, I have a pain in where my is pelvis, and no one else in the world has this fucking pain and shit like that. And this is the drive. Oh man. The mental state wants to have an exemption to every principle. It wants to think that, oh, this, nothing can work on this. Everything bows down to principle. Everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
In my experience,
pain is so powerful this way, the reflection of emptiness will be super fucking clear if you can use that who am I. Yeah? Because the distinction is so obvious. So if the attention and interest, instead of being like this, can look back, yeah, and not see Zanda, but through Zanda, yeah, that who am I can the whole, this is what people, the mental state holds on to the most uniquest story to exempt itself from any fucking principle or any relief. If you only knew how bad it was, well, you know, a lot of people do in their own ways, yeah? And yet, there is that which is before everything, and it's by what comes after everything. Course in Miracles would talk about it. There's no degrees in illusion or miracles. It's just either illusion, it's illusory or it's not. There's no small miracles and big miracles. It's miracles, yeah? We give it the size and the length and this and that, the depth and the... But in fact, the smallest little example holds the whole fucking principle, yeah? All right, thank you. And stay with us, yeah? Come back and tell us what's going on, all right? Thank you.
Thanks, Zanda. Anybody else want to raise their hand? Linda.
Linda. Oh, Linda, all right. There she is. Hello, Linda.
Linda from Minneapolis. I don't even know how to ask you this question, but I have...
Well, then you don't have to.
How do you travel more lightly or lightly when there appears to be a decision you make and I have a deadline for this decision? And I'm just wondering, how do you make a decision and travel lightly at the same time? Because I'm getting sucked into this, oh my God, what if I do it? What if I don't do it?
Maybe because maybe nothing can be, it's not about right or wrong or working or not working. Whatever you do is going to lead to something, yes? And if you hold the idea that's presented in the Course in Miracles, which is what I like, as an action figure narrative, yes, as an action figure narrative, that you and I are dreaming this dreaming. And we're going to dream ourselves out of the dreaming, and as we do, the dream will get happier, yeah? So, one way or the other, they're both going to be put to good use. That's my view.
Okay, so that's where I fall into a trap because I'm thinking there's one right answer.
Well, of course, you don't fall into the trap. That's the lazy boy for the mental state.
Okay.
It's like the chaise lounge of the mental state is falling into a trap. You're not falling into a trap. It's implying there's one. Yeah. It says there was a trap that you already fell into. It's not true.
Oh,
You,
it says a lot of things.
of course it does. And but it says a lot of things, but they're rote and they're repetitive and they're not infinite. They all have a certain linkage, a certain chain, and after you recognize a few, you won't listen to a lot of it. I'm serious. You'll lose interest in it. There's not many. It's all golden oldies. There's no fucking new music. You've heard it for years and years and years, honey. Yeah.
I
It's
can
not,
see
it's
that.
not going to surprise you. It isn't. It definitely isn't.
Okay, that's really helpful,
That
Paul.
comes from the mental state. There's no surprise that comes from the mental state. The sudden realization that you're in good hands is like a fucking surprise. Yeah. This message is a surprise. It hits you before time. Yeah. You get whacked before you can make up a story about you getting whacked. That's how beautiful it is. Yeah. Hey, whatever. You know that. You've had it even if you look at your history. I made bad decisions, but they turned out fucking okay. Yeah. Yes, haven't they? You're still here. You got a wall behind you. It's not a virtual wall. You have a place you're living. Seems like a nice chair. Jesus Christ. You've made terrible decisions your whole life. And look at where you ended up.
But here I go. I don't have enough money to keep living in this place.
Well, good. Then you'll find a better place that's cheaper. Or something will. Yeah, maybe you'll get a pop-up camper tent and you'll find some joy parking next to a nice lake. You would have never have thunk it with this house. Now you're freed from it. Yeah? Who knows?
So there's this level of trust here that I don't know. Language doesn't work right now, but
Well, the thing is, we're still talking as if there's a Linda choosing. There isn't really. But let's go. I mean, I don't know. I can look back at a part of my life, and I've observed I've been in good hands in spite of myself. Yeah. So I've come, not arrogantly, I've come to expect it in a nice way. That I'm all right. Good decisions, bad decisions, left turns, right turns. Yeah. Climbing up, falling down. It seems to all be part and parcel of dreaming ourselves out of the dreaming. Yeah. Who am I to say what was right and what was wrong? Or what was a good or bad decision? Yeah, it's ridiculous.
that's coming from your aperture having opened up, right?
I'm coming from, it's not my aperture open up, it's observing. From the smallest little aperture can observe, right? Let's say a 2x3 piece of a miracle, and then knows there's a huge miracle behind it. You know what I mean? I mean, we're not levels below a coconut. I can see that basically something has done for me what I can't do for myself for like fucking forever. So why would I jump ship now?
Oh, thank you, Paul. That's
Call us
very,
next
very
week or
helpful.
something when things have worked out miraculously, and let's honor the demonstration that you're taking care of, honey. Yeah?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I'm going to honor it now, but let's say maybe some of us will have to wait and see, but I'll honor it right now. Yeah. If anything ever happened to you, honey, you can sleep in a tent over here. We
And
got
this
a
is being recorded, right? We've got
tent.
this on record.
You can come over here.
Yes, we have witnesses.
Hitchhike from Minnesota. We'll pick you up at the bus stop and we'll take you over here.
Okay,
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It may cost you down the road, but the first week will be free.
okay.
Slowly, you'll have to do some chores. Honey, you're okay, eh?
Yes, yes, I am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Linda. Anybody else want to raise their hands?
It's
Everyone's stunned into. All right, then I can just say goodbye to everybody. Good. I'm going to start saying my goodbyes, and if anyone has a question, pipe in. Mike, thanks again. Yeah, Judith, it looks like you haven't moved in the last 2 months, so that's good. Kerry, always a pleasure to see you. You get shit's dropping off you, bro. It's good. Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Z, my main man, always looking out for me. I appreciate it. Yes. I'll talk with you tomorrow. If either of us remember, we will try. Johans, you're looking nicer too, Johans, yeah? More chilled out, fantastic. Fantastic. See, there's a lot more emotion in your face when it turns into Play-Doh, yeah? You don't have those four little mimickings of a human being. You can actually, yeah, very expressive. Gary, I don't know about Gary. Gary is like a corner dweller. That's like a huge mansion. Yes, he's got a key to all the rooms. Zanda, what can I say, Zanda? Just, fucking. If you go to the cave, try to remember all of these squares. Take us all into that cave. That cave's like a nuclear reactor.
You got a hand up.
Oh, all right, we got Julie. Julie Burr. She's either cold or a strange name. Where is Julie? Oh, there's Mary. Nice to see you, Mary. You're looking very much more relaxed also. Brahmi, surviving the monsoon. That's good. Where's Julie? I thought, oh, Susanna. Nice to see you, Susanna. Thanks so much.
Are you
I've
going to
got
take Julie's?
lots
Are you going to take Julie's hand?
What?
Are you going to take Julie's hand?
Yeah, yeah. Where is she?
On the corner next to Mike.
Oh, see, I
Julie.
try to avoid Mike at all costs. So,
Just a couple things.
Other Mike, hold on. But go ahead. I can hear you. I just can't find you. Oh, there you
That's
go.
okay.
Yeah, I see you. Julie
Two,
Burrell.
two things has come up for me. There's a lot of emotion that I kept going for a long time, thinking that I didn't have enough light to get rid of it. So I carried around a lot of heavy emotion. Now that heavy emotion seems to be nonsense in the spiritual world. And so there's this way to let it go. And of course, often that's met with a lot of confusion with bypassing, and then other people are wanting you to feel this emotion because you need to feel it. Then there's other people who will want to say to you, you don't really, even if you fix that, it still doesn't help you wake up to yourself. And part of that glimpse of waking, sorry, I'm confusing. Well, the awakening sessions, when they talk about awakening.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that awakening really doesn't have a whole lot to do with the character, and a lot of this emotion happens to be with the character. So the character that doesn't really exist seems to have a very big pull on you, but the awakening sessions is in a way to help you wake up to the real self, so to speak.
Well,
Even though there isn't.
that's not how we're seeing it. We're not seeing it that way. We're seeing that inherently you're awake already, all of us.
Sorry.
We're awake, and here,
That is true. That is true. Sorry, it was just the words. I'm just getting used to your words. Yes, that's true. We're
yeah,
already awake. I would say that one teacher would say that I would be less clear and maybe not realize how awake I am.
yeah.
Okay.
See, you're not that which is less clear.
Okay.
Let's be clear about that. There's not that which is more clear and less clear is the same amount of clarity. Yeah.
Okay.
Clarity isn't less or more. Yeah. Yeah. All right. But whatever. Whoever you're listening to, whatever. I'm just sharing
There's
how we see
there's
it.
there's all these good teachers out there, and I don't disagree with any of them necessarily. But what I find more difficult is every time I jump one teacher to the other teacher, and often that I get more clarity, right? But it's that connection for me to actually say, you know what, I don't need a teacher anymore. I could do it myself. I can just keep going. Just jump into myself and start doing whatever and just start feeling like,
Yeah. Have you tried that?
no,
Well, jump in.
okay.
I'm not, if you want me to give you permission, yeah, I don't care. Because see, certain things, certain emotions are going to demand their 5 minutes on the stage. Yeah. They're not going to be shuffled off with a spiritual hook. Yeah. And
Yeah,
then, and so this is the maintenance or the well-being of the action figure in this relative little activity. Yeah. There's
right.
value, there's value in that. It has very little to do with awakeness. Awakeness is a fact. Yeah.
Yep.
There can be an experience of more or less clarity, but there's not a lack of clarity. Yeah. It's not like there's a
Right.
high and low tide of awareness. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Here, as an interpretation, the aperture can be, let's say, behind the aperture is infinite, whatever, and then in the experience and in the interpretation of this dreaming, there's an aperture that can close and open, so it seems like there's more or less, but what isn't of more or less. Yes?
Right. I get it. Yep.
So, on one level, for you to have a certain well being as this action figure, you can't use spirituality to shuffle off these emotional things off the stage. They want their 5 minutes. They don't kill you, I'll tell you that much. Yeah?
Well, the thing is,
Hmm?
the thing was I never used spiritualism as a way to get rid of anything. That was everybody sort of thinks that from me, and that's why they put on these spiritual bypassing. But I would say the
You
better way to,
should bypass all spirituality, for sure.
well, this is what I used to say. I never liked spirituality. I never really particularly thought that it was a value necessarily. If we could be, then that was all we needed to do. But what had happened was
No,
that,
no, 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 no. But see, the thing is, there's something that you're not that has this story, if it could just be. That cannot be. It ain't. Yeah? Then there's being. They're not, there's a conflict there. Your inherent nature is. It's ising. Then there's the story of you that wants to just be. Yeah?
yeah, right, I see. Thank
Bondage
you.
of self. That's the bondage. See, that's the act. That's the act of being pre-identified as something that you're not, wanting to dream of being what it already is,
Right.
but that's that which you're not. See, this is what we don't. The whole basis we share about and from is bypassing that. Yes,
Right.
this whole thing. So that which you're not loves to practice spiritual bypassing. Yeah. And so then, of course, it also loves to get punished for that. So then it takes on the yoke of spiritual practice so that it has to get into the trenches to give it some fucking mental conviction that it's serious about things. None of that has anything to do with what we are.
Well, this is
Anything to do with what we are.
this is ironically what I feel the spiritual community puts on me and not what I placed on them. I looked for
Well, leave that
a,
spiritual community then. See what happens. See if the roof falls in. Who gives it, Really. If
so
something's
if
not working,
if
if
fate,
something's not working for you, then move, yeah?
well,
If
this
you
is the problem for me.
enjoy
It's more like the emotional baggage prevented me from doing anything because that was the conditioning. Don't do anything. So it was only the last couple of years that I started to see that I needed permission slips to do things. And I hadn't realized that that's what I was doing. So you live a conditioned life trying to
well,
be,
maybe right now doing it here. So
okay, thank you.
let's see
Yeah,
that you're not that which is doing it. That's the beautiful.
right.
I don't
Thank
care
you.
what you're doing, and I'm not going to say stop doing that. I care
Oh, I
about
see what you're saying.
the claiming of whatever you're doing by the mental state is implying the doer, and
Right,
it's
thank you.
implying a historical doer. Yeah, that's what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in what you're doing or shit like that. I could care
Okay,
less.
okay, thank you. All right,
If
what,
somehow you feel better getting abused by a spiritual community, far out. It's going to have its expiration date, and you're going to the failure of that system is going to have value by you seeing it's a failed system. So you can't lose.
right.
Yeah. No one's keeping us from fucking anything. I swear to God. This is like something, this is sort of like, it's this whole idea of getting into the moment is based on an insane idea we could be out of a moment. A lot of
Right.
this, all this stuff is based on insane ideas. Yeah?
All right.
That
How
somehow,
how could you help me? Like, there's some emotions that are very.
I cannot help you.
Oh,
All I can
okay.
all I can do is share a message. I'm not sharing it to any individual. I'm hopefully throwing it over.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I'm trying to talk to mind about mind.
Right.
I don't want to talk to you about you. I don't.
Right.
So I can't
Okay.
help. I don't think you need fucking help.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That's kind. Thank you. All right. What about this non-dual perspective where I heard awakeness?
There's no non-dual perspective. What has perspectives is duality. There's
Right.
no non-dual perspective. There isn't
All
a
right.
non-dual perspective and a duality perspective. There's
All
no
right.
non-duality perspective.
Okay. So words that were used to me would say, well, we'll see if it's okay if awakeness doesn't want to awaken you. Awakeness wakes up to the fiction of Julie, and wakeness may or may not wake up, but that's okay. So I'm just looking for, because when I heard that, I started to
Does that
feel
does
down.
that make Julie feel better?
It doesn't make, no, it doesn't, no, it's not inspiring. It's not anything. It just, I'd rather it not be said. Let's just put it that way, because it takes away all the, it doesn't need to be said, to be honest, but it was said. So I honor that it was said. So,
Honey, all I can do is what we do here. Yeah, you come
yeah, okay.
into where we people share, they ask questions, I share. We try to lay down certain ground rules, and one of them is basically the messages more about going through you, not getting to you. Yeah.
Thank you.
We're trying to do an action figure bypass. Basically, we're trying to
Okay.
throw the message over your head so that what you are hears it instead of you hearing it, turning it into something. Yeah,
Okay.
and not meaning you as you, but you as all you. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And we're here to share warnings about how non-duality or the idea of non-duality gets co-opted by the dualistic approach that's claiming to be the hero of it. That's all. That's what we care
Okay.
about. Yeah, because a lot of people here have gone through seemingly what you've gone through in the past. And they got to a point based on some kind of unease or whatever, and then something made sense, and then they had an unspoken yes occur, and basically they're here to listen to the warnings of how the system, the mental system, regroups and claims to be us. Yeah, and there's no way
Okay.
you can kill it because it's never been alive. Yeah, you
Right.
can't vanquish it, you can't wrestle with it, you can't come to terms with it. You just see it from what you are. Instead of looking for what you are from what you're not, you'll see what you're not from what you are. That's it.
Right. Thank you.
And then whatever happens after that, you'll be able to see some sense in it all when it makes absolutely no sense.
Right.
So
Okay.
thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
More than happy to come back, and we'll be here hopefully.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks, Julie. You gonna finish your goodbyes, Paul?
I didn't even start them, did I? No. All right.
Well, you were
All
saying
right.
hi or something.
Mike, nice to see you, Mike. Thank you. Judith, always a pleasure. Zanda, yeah. I've seen moments this time where there's been free from the pain. I've seen it in the square. I've seen it. Yes. Gary, nice to see you, my friend. Z, my main man. Even though you're the last letter of the alphabet, you're an A1 to me. Clay, always good to see you there, Clay. I have no idea what you're up to during the rest of the day, but it's nice to see you. Deepak, fantastic. George, I didn't know they had nice pillows in the void. That's nice. You're very comfortable there. There's Yariv. Nice to see you, Yariv. Thanks for coming over to the compound. Appreciate it. Zoe's up and walking. Oh, Zoe, one of my first miracles. Linda, something is doing for us what we can't do for ourselves. Let it. Jack G, you're sure acting like it's your house, man, but you're ready to jump out of there in any second when that doorbell rings. All right, Michael C, nice to see you, Mike. Fritz, my main man, he's at the symbolic place himself.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And he is that which is before the who am I. Kelly has given up the ghost. She's in bed completely. Yeah. All right, Kelly. See ya. Dennis. Hey, listen, Dennis. I want your son to give me a call tomorrow morning. You can call me up. Yeah, in the morning. Yeah. You've got to fucking yeah. Let's put an end to this shit. Yeah, please. Seriously. All right, Clifford. Nice to see you there in Thailand. If I ever come back to Chiang Mai, I'll have to try to send me. Could you send me your email on Zen BitSlap? Yeah, I'll be there Friday. I hope it isn't too soon. And I'm bringing my girlfriend with us. Virginia. Nice to see you, Virginia. Thank you for holding the space, honey. Brahmi, my main woman in the Ganges. Don't you forget that. All right. Oh, Mary. Mary, you're looking quite contrary today, Mary. That's good. Oh, we got Satish. Satish? Nice to see you, Satish. I hope I see you again. Susanna, thanks so much. You bought me a month's supply of good coffee. Woo-hoo. Julie, take it easy. Yeah? See, you're never gonna hear the silence by listening to too many. When you listen to too many, you don't hear a fucking thing. Johans, nice to see you, my friend. Keep it up. You're looking a lot more chilled out. Either you're on prescription meds or the talks are helping. Either way. Keith, nice to see you, Keith. Sonny hasn't been making an appearance lately. I can see him. I mean, I haven't seen his face in a while. Sonny, we know you're there. We got, let's see, Luca. Luca's at a beautiful piece of water. Oh, it's a big freaking dog. All right. Julie, come out and show yourselves. All these anonymous people, Nancy and everyone. Hey, it's such a pleasure to see everybody. Yeah? And I'll see you guys on Saturday or tomorrow with the recovery, Thursday. Zanda, you'll be of service tomorrow, pretty sure. Get out there. Judith, you're of service all the time. Just, yeah, do your thing. All right, so Thursday and Tuesday, 10:30 Pacific time, we have recovery, non-duality disguised in recovery, basically. And then Wednesday, Saturday, we have naked non-duality. Wednesday, 7 o'clock, Saturday, 1:30 Pacific time. Come and join us if you like. And, yeah. See you. I'll see you guys. Mike is going to keep the thing open a little bit, I guess. Yes, Mike?
Yep. Yep.
All right, I'll see you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Good to
see you, Paul.
Thank
You'll
you.
be next week, Zoe. Don't worry.
Bye, Paul.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Mike.
Sure. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you, Mike.
Yeah, thank you,
You
Mike.
guys. Julie, what time is it for you?
Actually, it's one of the best times ever. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. It's like, yay. I was up at 4:30 though to get on the call, but then it was delayed today.
What call?
This call
Oh,
was at 7. It was normally at their 1:30 in the afternoon.
oh,
Still recording, Mike.
on Saturday it's 1:30.
Yeah.
Still recording.
I am? Oh, I thought I stopped that.